Hi everyone, so I'm back again with another tutorial on my Disney series. So as always, I'm starting off prepping my eyebrows with the Charlotte Grant translucent brow soap, just spraying some setting spray into the brow soap to create a paste-like formula, and going in with a spoolie and brushing this through my brow hairs to get them nice and full and fluffy. Now taking the P. Louise base in the shade Rumour 2 on a P. Louise 7071 devoted to my base brush, I'm just packing in the P. Louise base all over my lid to ensure that we get a nice, tacky, even base on both eyelids before we do go in with any eyeshadow. I personally love the number 2 shade for my colourful looks, as you will find that it just brings out more colour payoff than it does with a more natural skin tone, so that is why the base is obviously lighter than what it usually would be. Then taking a Doll Beauty DB5 brush, I'm just brushing out the edges of the base and through my brow hairs so it doesn't leave a mask-like finish. This also just disperses the product to the other areas, just so it isn't nice and flat to your skin, it's nice and smooth and buffed out. So for my first shade for the half cut crease, I am going in with the Be Perfect Clientele palette, and this shadow is Warrior on a DB13 brush. So with this, you want to take it in a small section in little small swiping motions, creating that depth and intensity before we go in with our second shadow. Now for the second shadow, I'm going in with the Be Perfect Stacey Marie Carnival XL palette, and this is the shadow The Hype on the same DB13 brush, but I've obviously just cleaned it with the previous shadow. So with this, if you've ever seen the way P. Louise do their eyeshadows, it's called sandwich stages. So what you want to basically do is go on 50% on and off the previous eyeshadow, just going back and forth, tickling the edges and buffing it out, and then we will also do this with the next shade. So you will find that you will lose the colour from your previous shadow. This is why we always go back in using the same brush with the same shadow, just to bring back that intensity once you are happy with the blends. Now for the third blend, as you can see, I'm going in with a much bigger fluffy brush. This is a DB6 from Doll Beauty, and I'm going in with the shadow Ecstasy from the Stacey Marie Carnival XL palette. So the higher up you get towards the brow, the bigger brush that you're going to need. Also make sure that you aren't doing this with much pressure at all, as you really don't need it. And then once you've gone in with your third shadow, you need to go back down in your stages and back down your eyeshadow colours. So as you can see, I'm constantly going back in with the previous shadow from before, just re-intensifying that colour to get the perfect blend. So now for a trick that is seriously going to level up your cut crease game is Vaseline. So taking a bit of Vaseline on a P. Louise Acid Rain flat brush, you just want to carve out and create the shape of that perfect half moon cut crease shape. So the Vaseline trick is literally the best thing that has happened to my makeup application so far, especially when it comes to heavy glam and cut creases, because it just makes the job 10 times easier. And because I am going to go in with the P. Louise Acid Rain paints, they work so much better underneath no product. So as you can see, I've created my desired shape for my cut crease, and then I am wiping away the excess Vaseline with a wipe. You want to make sure that the wipe you use for this has no oil in, as you don't want the eyeshadow to get mixed in with the Vaseline. So now I've gone in with the P. Louise Hint of Mint winter base on the same Acid Rain flat brush. So throughout all these stages with the Vaseline and packing on my paints, you will see that I have used this brush. Now packing on over the top of the P. Louise base, I am going in with the shade Ecstasy from the Stacey Marie Carnival XL palette. I just absolutely love the intense colour of that shadow. It is unreal because I didn't manage to get my hands on the P. Louise Limelight Acid Rain paint, unfortunately. So once again, you just want to wipe off the excess product what was on the P. Louise Acid Rain flat brush and go back in again with your Vaseline to then help you create that perfect cut crease. So this is just created like a graphic liner before we actually do the cut crease. I absolutely love the effect of this once it is all done. Now going in with the best thing for cut creases currently on the market is the P. Louise and Mitchell Acid Rain paint in blank canvas on the same Acid Rain flat brush. So what I do with my cut creases, I use this stamping technique rather than swiping and going in with one big swipe at the start, because this may cause accidents to happen, and at this stage we don't need it, but if that does happen, you could always go back in with your Vaseline. But just to prevent that from happening, I do recommend going in with a stamping motion rather than a swipe and getting that cut crease done all in one go. You would rather take your time and make it be perfect rather than rushing and not being happy with the final outcome. Now going in with the Doll Beauty DB5 brush and dispersing the rest of blank canvas onto my eyelid. I love taking this fluffy brush and dispersing it out with this rather than the flat brush, because you will find that it will be a lot less thick and it just shears out the product the tiniest bit more. The paint's set within a minute, so you do not need to put eyeshadow on. If you do, you might see that the paint will start to crack, and this is what we do not need because we want that seamless, perfect base. Now going in with the Warrior shadow from the start from the Be Perfect Clientele palette on a P. Louise angled brush from the Acid Rain collection. I am just stamping out a wing liner. Silly me, I've cut half myself off on here, but there is plenty of makeup tutorials out there what does show you the perfect wing liner. This isn't really going to matter too much, as I am going to blow it out and it will be more of a smoky blown out wing liner, so don't worry too much about this. So then just taking a DB13 brush once again and going in with the Hype shadow and starting to smoke out that wing. As you can see, just like my blends at the beginning, I'm constantly going back and forth with my shadows to create the perfect and intense smoky wing liner. I am then going back in with the Ecstasy shadow on a DB5 brush, just enforcing that lime green and creating the most perfect blend. I am then going in with the Rattlesnake pigment from Peaches and Cream on a DB15 brush. This is just a small little packing brush, perfect for this application. Rattlesnake is an absolutely gorgeous pigment. It's got a nice shift of greens and yellows, so I thought this would have been the most perfect pigment for this look. I didn't want the pigment too harsh, but I still wanted it there so you could see it. So as you can see, I haven't added any pigment bobber like that or anything underneath. So I've then just taken my Maybelline Great Lash Mascara and my Doll Beauty Lash Curlers to prepping my lashes before my falsies. The fake lashes that I've chosen to use today are Doll Beauty Jasmine. I did use these in my last look, but I do really love jasmine lashes as they're not too full and not too thick, which is something that I need to show off this look. I'm just taking a bit of the doll glue. I am using my P. Louise little tiny detail brush and putting a tiny bit of the glue on my lid, and then I'm just adding some lime little diamantes. I just feel like the look was missing something, so I've just added a few little random diamantes onto my eyelid, and I really did love how it did turn out in the end. And then for my waterline, I am then again taking my P. Louise Hinted Mint Winter Base on a PC41 brush. This is the perfect little tiny brush to get in the waterline. So I am just applying my base, and then I'm going over the top with the Ecstasy shadow from the Be Perfect Stacey Marie palette. So I hope you all enjoyed the eye tutorial of this half cut crease with a blown out wing and some extra little shiny glittery goodness for my Tinkerbell look. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.